Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 43. Today, I thought it would be a great time to do something I haven't done in a while, which is answer a question. A question I got on a comment from Monarch Medium. Thank you for this question, Monarch. I feel like the question Monarch asked is something that is just hard to respond with in the written word, and maybe I can convey more over video. Monarch's question is, what do you mean by don't resist and surrender to the feelings? You say that often, but I still don't exactly understand what you mean by that. So what you mean by don't resist and surrender to the feelings? I want to use what I'm going through right now. So this morning I woke up with so much heaviness and just a lot of density coming up. And what's important to realize on the spiritual path is when we're sharing our heart, when we're sharing our gifts, we can sometimes get caught up in only thinking we have something to give when we're at a really high vibration, and when we're super, in that flow, connected. And that's a beautiful place to be. Who doesn't love that? But spirituality, true healing, teaches us that the most powerful thing, beyond any state of high vibration or low vibration, anything, is authenticity, is being honest. Honesty and authenticity are the most powerful things that we have, beyond any type of vibration that we can tap into, beyond any of that. And so this question is so beautifully, divinely, it's like divine timing, because I'm going through a lot of clearing today. And when we're going through clearing, when we're going through denser emotions, when we're feeling depression, when we're feeling sadness or anger, our spiritual ego or personal will can oftentimes just want to get rid of those feelings so that we can feel in a higher state again, right? My personal will, my spiritual ego, does not want me to share when I'm in a place of a lower vibration. It wants me to be tapped in, really connected. And so, when we allow ourselves to share from a place of not our highest vibration, what happens is we allow that personal will, we allow that spiritual ego to dissolve a little bit more. Like me coming on today and sharing from this place, it's allowing that spiritual ego to kind of fall away a little bit more. And it's really the spiritual ego, it's the personal will that actually keeps our vibration low. Because here's what I mean by that. When we're feeling sadness or any low emotion, it's that spiritual ego, it's that personal will that wants to resist it, it wants to not feel it. It wants to try to feel better immediately. It wants to reach for a higher feeling right away. But our soul, our higher self, understands that what we're feeling for a divine and cosmic purpose, a divine reason. So our soul, our truth, our authenticity, understands that whatever we're feeling in the moment is there to teach us something, is there to serve our highest evolutionary growth. So if you're feeling a lower emotion, the real movement is to not see how quickly you can feel better. The real movement is to lean into it, is to open to it, is to embrace it. Because the point of this movement of spirituality and healing isn't happiness. The point is to feel fully. And the more full you feel, the happier you're going to be. So if you have anxiety coming up, really strong anxiety, that's just energy wanting to move. And when we feel anxiety, a lot of times, and I did this all the time for almost all my life, I would resist it and contract and try to not feel it. And then it would just build and build and build. And then I'd have a panic attack. Or if we have lots of anger and we're resisting the anger and we don't want to feel it and we don't let it move through us, we don't consciously express it, maybe scream into a pillow, write, just consciously express it, then the anger can build and maybe we fly into an unconscious rage. The same with grief and sadness. If we don't let ourselves cry, if we don't let ourselves feel that grief and sadness, then we can oftentimes become very depressed because it just keeps stacking up and stacking up and stacking up in the body. So that's what I mean by don't resist, because anytime we resist anything like anxiety or anger or sadness or grief, it only serves to have it persist. What you resist persists. And a lot of times it's our spiritual ego, it's our personal will that can tell us to resist something because it just wants to feel better. The spiritual ego will a lot of times cling to the lighter feelings, the lighter energies. But what this does is it creates an imbalance. Because here on planet Earth, we need the light and the dark. We need yin and yang. Your darkness has just as much to teach you. It has just as many gifts to bring to you as your light does. We all love feeling the lighter emotions, the joy, the peace, the euphoria. But oftentimes it's our darker emotions that really show us who we are, that really transform us in a deep and profound and lasting way. Because like I said, if you're feeling it for a reason, and it has something to teach you. And until you can accept your darkness, until you can accept the anxiety and just let it move through, until you can accept the anger and consciously express it, until you can accept the grief and the sadness and cry, then it's going to remain with you. Because it still has something to teach you. Because until we can love and accept something, then it still has something to teach us. But it's when we can accept it and love it that it will release, because it no longer has anything to teach us. And that's what I mean by not resisting and by surrendering. You want to surrender to these heavier feelings, these darker feelings. Because that's what allows you to move through them. That's what allows you to consciously integrate them or transmute them into wholeness. It's when you try to run from them, avoid them, or take a magical, whatever, drug, or think a diet's going to do it, or if I do yoga this many times, or if I date this kind of person, it's when we look for things outside of us to escape what we're feeling inside of us. That's when an imbalance starts building. And, the only way out is through. When we have an imbalance, we really need to feel our way through it, which means we really need to allow all of those things that we've been suppressing and repressing and avoiding. We need to allow them to surface fully. We need to give them a fearless, open embrace and welcome them up. Because we know that they come bearing wisdom. They come bearing our truth. I actually want to end this video on a quote from one of my blog posts that I wrote, all about when I was experiencing tremendous amounts of darkness and what I learned through that. The darkness is your power. When you open to your darkness in a full and complete way, nothing out there can fuck with you anymore. You are free to be exactly who you want to be. And who you really want to be is who you are. The darkness shows you who you are. if only you will open to it. So I hope that answers that question. Feel free to comment, Monarch, or anyone else if you need more clarification. Like I said, I'm clearing some density. I'm clearing some heavy grids today. It's very exciting because I can feel like these old patterns really falling off today. The full moon has really accelerated that for me, and I feel like I'm coming into a place where I'm going to expand more than ever and be able to serve Source and the One and just the universe and God more than ever, and it feels really good. But as you guys know, to truly expand, to truly grow, it takes a willingness and a courage and an openness to embrace your darkness and your heaviness and to let it up so that it can teach you what you came here to learn, what your soul came here to learn. I love you all so much, and I will see you on day 44. Namaste.